who was pretty excited for the power of the Xbox. They actually got the exclusive that gave them the 1 million subscribers. But there you go.
And PlayStation had the higher clock, which obviously a lot of people were kind of looking at teraflops as an indication of performance there. I don't think that Microsoft's silicon investment is fully paid out as of yet. We're looking at like what 17% differential in GPUs. We've seen hints, and PlayStation had the higher clock, which obviously a lot of people were kind of
17%
indication of performance there.
Not about the hardware, dude.
I think that Microsoft's silicon investment is fully paid out as of yet. We're looking at like what 17.
Santa's not happy. That's not a happy camper. Yeah, so the silicon, 17% hardware. You look at the differences between this thing, and I said it till my throat was hoarse about it's not about the stupid specs. It is about the software and hardware working together. You see this with an Apple product that has the software and the hardware working together, optimized, working forever. And then you got the Frankenstein, slap Windows 10, Windows 11, slap it on a machine that's built from Frankenstein parts. Take an ARM from here, take a GPU from here, take an NVIDIA thing from here, take an SSD from here, put it all together and slap an operating system on it and hopefully it communicates to everybody. That shit's going to be not optimized. It's all about optimization. That's why you could get ray trace performance in Spider-Man Miles Morales and in Ratchet and Clank. But heaven forbid we see ray tracing in Halo. It was the ray trace. Microsoft was the first company to talk about this bullshit ray tracing besides the people that make GPUs. And they release your games without ray tracing in them. Forza got in the photo mode. Good job. Halo, who the fuck? Who knows? Thanks, ass. Thanks. What are you doing? It's about the optimization. PlayStation 5 is built to play games. Xbox Series X is a Frankenstein machine with brute force. You saw this with the One X. Just jack up the resolution, say it's a 4K native, and screw checkerboarding. Screw the checkerboards. Yeah. Santa's not happy.
PlayStation had the higher clock, which...
Remember when they said that the PlayStation had the higher clock? Cerny, I told you, right, Cerny? Hi. Happy New Year, everybody. This is Mark Cerny. I told you, bitch asses. I told you. When I sat down with that lovely tea and had those developers in the conference, we don't know if they're real or not, but I said the SSD outperform anything. I architected the PS5 to play games. And not to... It all works perfectly. You don't understand. I was right. I'm Mark Cerny. I told you. I told you. You just want to listen. Digital Foundry. Go play with your magnets. Go eat your breakfast with that bearded fellow over at Xbox. But I told you. The PS5 was built for performance and optimization to play one thing. Games. It's all about the games. Let me introduce my partner here, Herman Holst, who's going to tell you what he has to say about these games. It's about the quality games that I go to the store and I go to these performance and I say the quality of the games. And I go on my yacht with my women and they rub me down in oil, in PlayStation oil. And I go back to the studios and I go, it's about the games and the quality. And then my other friend, Jim Ness.
Enough from me. we're gonna have the games do our talking.
And then he slaps me on my head and goes, "Get over 2, 3, 4. Get over there. Get over to Santa Monica and tell them about the quality games. I run the studios. I run the quality. I do splits between PlayStations. It's the quality games. They got games run by a booty. We got games here run by Triple H. Head Herman Holst. It's about the quality. I go back to my yacht and I deliver quality games starting next month. You still play with your booty hole. Getting people coffee. Saying that he just doesn't want to interfere with them. Ask them for more cream and 2 sugars. The fuck out of here. It's about the quality games. I'm the boss. I'm the boss. Herman Holtz is going over there, flipping over tables, going, Horizon better ship this February. Booty's going over there, going, 2 sugars. I don't want to interfere. Just the booty clapping in the streets. I'm not going to interfere with you guys. Don't worry. Oh, you're going to lower the resolution? Don't worry about it. That's okay. I have nothing to say here. I don't want to interfere. I just run the booty hole. I'll go back clapping. Goddamn Herman Holtz goes in there. I want this game to be quality. 4K quality. I want Aloy swinging from a goddamn raptor and flying with her propellers and her parachute. I want everything. I want her to pull back and see the world. Because it's about quality. And we charge $70 for quality.
Enough from me. We're gonna have the games do our talking.
That's my boss. It's the games that do the talking, not the booty hole. So anyway.
The higher clock, which...
So remember with the higher clock. Supposedly the PlayStation was going to go on fire. Remember? I remember. Oh, the PlayStation is going to have a heat throttling issue because it has the higher clock. Oh, they got the Hovis method, a bunch of hot air in the Xbox. Oh, shit. 2 years of this shit. 2 years. 2 years. And now we see a year later. They look like somebody shitting their coffee.
Obviously, a lot of people were kind of looking at teraflops as an indication of performance there.
And you as Digital Foundry should have said, guys, it's not about the teraflops. Instead of rubbing your nipples and playing with magnets going, oh, the 12 teraflops. Oh, my God. You guys were the proponents of it. People were running around saying 12 teraflops are not the thing. You as Digital Foundry should have stopped that shit right there. I'm good, Ghostface. Don't worry about it. I'm okay. But they should have stopped this as instead, they fell right for the finesse. They're like, oh, the 12 teraflops. They're going to have 17 deltas. Get the fuck out of here. The investment and stuff. I'm going to give you some foreshadow here, Digital Foundry, from Digital Grindhouse. I'm going to tell you right now. You ain't never going to see that 17% of horse shit. Okay? Unless Booty gets his ass back into gear and demands quality from Microsoft First Party, because you are not going to see that from third party. Okay? Especially when everybody's cheering that goddamn Booster is the most popular goddamn console. The Series Booster. Oh, the Series S saved Xbox. Fool. What dev is going to take advantage of the Series X when Booster's the most popular Xbox out there? Asses. Answer that to me. There's only one PlayStation 5. One system to optimize for. You're going to say, well, it's 3-1 Series X, the Series S to X. The Booster. That's why you should not celebrate that Booster selling. Because who wants to develop for Booster? You want to develop for the Series X. You want that 17% to be seen. So why are you excited that the booster's selling? You want the Series X to be the primary selling Xbox, not booster. Because when somebody looks to make a game for Xbox, they want to see a 3-to-1 ratio with the most powerful console versus the weakest booster. That's what you want to see. You don't want to see 3-to-1 the other way. I'm telling you, you're not going to see it. Only if Booty gets his shit together and slaps around some people in the Xbox studios to demand better quality games to take advantage of the Series X. Because I could tell you history repeats itself. And let's rub our asses together and think about, did the One X deliver on its promises? They had a whole fluff video. Whole fluff. We heard this is the we heard your console.
Like, what, 17?
This is the we heard your console with the teraflops. There it is. There's a face of somebody who said it was about the 12 teraflops. There it is. The only way it's going to happen is if Microsoft decides to do it themselves. Then you got a question. Does that kind of quality belong in Game Pass? Do they put that amount of effort and fidelity and textures and all that stuff to give it away for $10, $15? That's a dilemma, don't you think? That's a dilemma, I think. But yeah, the capping and magnets and putting it together, and the guy with the fucking looked like he's the Who Farted face with the fucking beard that's 2 feet long. It looks like he has the face of Who Farted. Oh? Yeah, that dude. You love the 12 teraflops, the exclusive hands-on. Yeah? You should have been the one telling people it's not about the T-flops, everybody. It's about the way the company is going to make the software for the hardware. That's what you should say, Digital Foundry. But no, you fell right for the finesse. You fell right for the finesse. And
higher clock. Which obviously a lot of people were kind of looking at teraflops as an indication of performance there. I don't think that Microsoft's silicon investment has fully paid out as of yet. No. If we're looking at like what, a 17% differential in GPU compute, we've seen hints, and
you've seen hints of it. It hints my ass. Exactly. There's your dilemma. But, you know, they got to do the kumbaya after they say this. They go, well, both of them will be fine. Yeah, but you forget the goddamn 2.5 years when it was Project Scarlet where you fuckers wouldn't shut up about the teraflops and the power advantage that the PlayStation 5 did not have because they didn't give you a hands-on with magnets. But Xbox flew your ass out there, rubbed your balls, gave you breakfast. And you came back with 1 million views talking about how the system's incredible. They did it. Oh, really? Yeah. Because you spent your channel was built off of the goddamn power of the Series X and the One X. Because that's all you would do. That gave you a differentiator. But did you really see? You should know better that it's the difference between. It's a system that's being built, and on top of that, another reason why you're never going to say it is because Microsoft games are being built for all these different variations. All their first parties are multi-plat, and they're making for all these PCs out there. Are they really going to take the time and develop specifically for the Series X and take advantage of that extra 17% over their competitor? When meanwhile, they're putting that thing on everything. Look how fragmented Halo Infinite is. Every time you hear about delay or something wasn't ready for launch, it was because they're putting it on PC. They were stretched too thin, 500 people. Well, that was my problem with them going everywhere day one. You're not going to take advantage of the hardware that I purchased, that people bought, the promises that were made. that advantage is not going to be taken, not going to be used because you are out there fucking the milkman. You give a shit more about PC and all that other shit. But meanwhile, people pay $500 investment in a 12 teraflop most powerful machine. Digital Foundry played with the magnets. Dude, that's what you should get. Oh, no. Now, let's see. We got another clip from these guys. Where are they? I think this one. I don't know.
PS5 made a much stronger.
Here it is. Here's another one. Frog.
I would say the PS5 made a much stronger impression, and part of this is actually just down to the software availability, because when we first got our Series X, the only thing we could do was play Xbox One games. I can't remember what it was that we got our first native Series X game. I feel like the first one I actually saw was the Falconeer.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is a beautiful game, but it's an indie. So it's not, the best showcase for that necessarily, right? But it was interesting because it was the first time that I'd seen like a new console.
Oh, what's interesting is that, okay, fine, it's a launch game. It's a launch game. The Falconeer was the only thing that you could see that shows you the Series X, because everything else was just old games in new form, remember? That was the complaint. It's funny because I told you this on the show. I went back to my history of Xbox 20 years. Every new console that I bought, I played the launch games that came with it. The only console with the Series X, guess what game I had? Gears 5. Sergeant with the irons. Gears 5. Because there was no games to play. Falconeer.
Platform arrive, and it's like, well, you can play your old games. And obviously, I would say
and that's something that people still, even when talking about Game of the Year and how Xbox One 2021, whoever's drinking that Phil Nest juice, but like you're talking about that and you go, look at what they released with. Sony dropped a ray tracing Spider-Man Miles Morales game, Demon's Souls, and dropped Astro Bot, even that. And Microsoft just said, play your old games better. That wasn't a problem for some. After over a year and a half, when it was called Project Scarlet, talking about how powerful and capable this machine is, you do that. And we waited a year for Halo Infinite. Can you sit here and go, well, they launched with the Falconeer, wasn't that great, but over the year they actually demonstrated the true capabilities of the machine. Well, according to these guys' faces, and I think they didn't. And even if they launched Halo Infinite last year with this Series X, that won't be no showstopper. Wasn't a showstopper now. We got Halo trees. A Frog. Well, like, this hardware bullshit, I'm just done with it. Oh, Frog's there on mute. He's probably playing some games. But I am. I'm just like, but there you go. But it's about the software that takes advantage of the hardware. So you see him saying that, but they weren't saying this leading up to the launch of this console. And that grinded my gears. Because I was saying like it's about the software. Stop looking at the specs. We just saw the One X not live up to its dreams. Even the high fidelity VR, at least that takes advantage of the more powerful. They dropped that shit too. But talking about games coming up, now you're sitting here going, this is the review of 2021, but Grinders 2022 is going to show the power of this machine, right? Yes. So I just went into 2 fanboy comments. Yeah, you got Phil Nest. I don't know. I went into 2 fanboy charts. And we got this. Because, it's not even about exclusives anymore. It's about, I guess it's about, it's not even about exclusives anymore. It's about day one Game Pass games, I guess. So, I'm really thinking that Pigeon Simulator is really going to show the potential of this system. This is what I don't understand, everybody. And I heard some of the reviews about who's going to do good this year. Well, that's what we're talking about now, Frogs, if you're still on mute. But we're going to go into the lineup here. And what I said is, can Starfield save Xbox or help it carry it? Because when we look at the lineup of what PlayStation has, okay, and we look, and I didn't make these up. These are two fans put together some things, and I just grabbed them, right? Look at the list of games that are on here. The variation. And look at the games you're talking about. We were talking about, and I heard this on a podcast. They were like, well, Sony got, I have the Sony list, but it's like they got off the top of the head. They got, Horizon coming out. That's a brand new game. They got Horizon, which looks incredible. We've seen a lot of it. We're going to be playing it. You got Gran Turismo 7. You got Forspoken. If Final Fantasy 16 drops. And you got God of War. And you just list those games, right? The caliber of those games. Now, who knows if Forspoken's going to be good? But just looking at it, it looks pretty damn impressive. And you still got Ghostwire Tokyo, I guess. And you got, I forget what else. But those are just one of the things. I got the list over here, right? Ranking. And then you look at the list here, and it's like, they're just grabbing anything. Sifu, yeah. But just those games I listed, they're just grabbing anything that's coming. Like, you look Starfield. Oh, yeah. Wow. What a hit. Starfield. Okay, that's a big game that's coming to the platform. Oh, right. Starfield. And then you go down. It's like Atomic Heart, Crusade. First of all, some of these are not even exclusive, right? Crusader Kingdoms, Party Animals, Bushiden, Windjam is 2. As does Falls, Loot River, Pigeon Simulator, Shredders, Total War, Warhammer. I heard somebody getting hyped for that. Who? Total War Games, Warhammer? That Warhammer 4000 that they make a billion games of? Okay. Memoir Blue, Erudin Chronicles, Soup Pot, Way to the Woods, She Dreams Elsewhere, Frog Detective Frog. Is that your game? You made one. Hello Neighbor 2, Flight Express, Somerville, A Plague's Tale. That's only okay. I like Plague's Tale, but that's a multi-plat game. Stalker 2. All I gotta say is everybody talking about Stalker 2. Tell me how you played Stalker 1. Fuck out of here. Dead Static Drive, Redfall. Oh shit, here's another one. Oh shit, Shitfall. Edge of Eternity, The Antichrist, Warhammer again, and motherfucker's back. Paparazzi. Not even a paparazzi game. Paparazzi. Slime Rancher 2. The game that came on the 360. They made a fucking sequel to it. Nobody Saves the World. Oh, they put Deathloop on here. You fuckers got a release date? Because I don't. RPG Legend of Right Scorn. Oh shit, Scorn. Alien Dicks. Wait for that one. Sit on that one in a fucking yellow chair. Chinatown Detective Agency. Little Witch in the Woods. Singulitis. Replaced. Sniper Elite 5 because we never got enough of Sniper Elite 4. This shit's all over the place. How do you have Starfield on a list of Xbox games with fucking Frog Detective? Well, fucking She Dreams everywhere. And the reason why I brought up this list is because this is it. This is it. Starfield is really the carrier here. Stalker 2, stealth drop. Like, I guess Crossfire X campaign, because who gives a shit about Crossfire Beta that came out 3 years ago? 2 years ago? Smilegate, remember them? Smilegate. Crossfire, who? Yeah. Well, they're making a campaign to it. That comes out February, but it's not in Game Pass, so it's not on this list. But, like, if you're talking about first-party games carrying the Xbox Game Pass, because Game Pass is the service of services, right? What the fuck is this list? Listen. And Frog brought this up. I don't know what Frog was. The Grindhounds must be working on Overdose. But this is a new year. Same bullshit. You look at this list. Does this list look like $180? Is that $180 worth of games right there? Probably monetarily, yeah. But to you, would you buy 10 of those games? Would you buy that? That's $180. Oh, and they might have stealth drops of games, multi-plats maybe in there. Those are surprises, though. But this is what you want, $180, $15 a month for this list. And they probably slip in a Forza Motorsport in there, service game. That's a guarantee. So you haven't enough Forza last year. Well, 10 million people playing, 3,000 online. 10 million people open the doors. Well, you got Forza Motorsport 5, the service game that never ends. I'm sure they're going to piecemeal that game, 10 cars a month. Who knows? But look at this. And this is the list. And then you go and it's like, okay, well, so, and then you even look at like Nintendo got like Zelda and shit, right? Then you go look at like PlayStation and it's like, okay, hold on. Like, and they're talking about, and that other fucking lady talking about how Microsoft Sony has to get their shit together. And I'm not going to count everything on this list. But like, listen. Okay, you got in January, multiplats. I don't even want to talk about all the bullshit. Deep Rock, no. Uncharted and remastered, fuck. Screw January. We're done with January lineup. I don't care about January. Here we go. Where the real money for the movie is made. Sifu. Looks goddamn insane. If that was on Xbox, people will be rubbing nipples talking about Sifu like they talked about the gunk. Horizon Forbidden West, please. Okay? These two. Okay, that's February. There's an exclusive Babylon Falls. Gran Turismo 7. Oh shit, they got wow, that's coming out. Is that Persona 4 Universe? Okay. Let's go to March to June. Ghostwire Tokyo. Moss, too. Moss was incredible. Forspoken in May. Fucking Lucky's Tales and VR. Oh, Jesus. What is this? God of War. Here it is. God of War. Lost Soul Aside. Final Fantasy 16. These are the ones with updates. Little Devil Inside, you want some little stuff. Stray. You want to get little shit there. But look at the caliber games, just the ones that you know. And they're actually coming out playable. Like, like it's not this promise of list of what's our first party working on. Fuck GTA 5. I'm just highlighting the ones that we know, right? But the caliber of games. I only could list like 5 of them here, right? But the caliber of games, just that lineup, compared to that other lineup. Like I could list, if you want to look at this list, look at the list of multiplats. Okay, look at this lineup. But you're good in February if you just get Horizon. You don't need Elden Ring. They got Crossfire X in campaign. Like the caliber of games is just totally different. Like if you want to talk about Forza and Halo, oh man, what a year, they won the year. Well, you need that consistency. You can't just drop off the face of the earth and go, see you next year, Starfield, November. That's if it comes out in November. And if that's the case, then they need, and factions, we don't know what else is coming. And like, I'm sure Microsoft is going to add some Forza to it, but I don't think, like Hellblade might be stealth releasing this year. I think Hellblade's early next year, 2023. But like, you look at Crossfire X, even Stalker 2, and we've seen so much more from Horizon, from Sifu, from Gran Turismo. Like, you just look so much more to these games that they built up the hype for it. Look what they did the Halo campaign, dude. They just stealth dropped that shit. And people are like, oh, I'm surprised. Yeah. Halo shows up at your doorstep. Oh, I'm surprised. Yeah, Super Lucky Tales, Jesus. That's another one. But like, look at the lineup, and it's just more of a look at the caliber of games. And you look at, really, Microsoft is relying solely on Starfield as like a caliber game. The same for the capping that goes on for Game Pass, as it's their first party games that are coming to that service. Is Starfield going to carry it? I don't know. Frogs, if you're there, you're welcome to answer. But like, my opinion on Starfield is just like, obviously we need to see more. Yeah, Final Fantasy 16 is more.
We definitely need to see more.
Of course.
I think that at the end of the day, what it all boils down to is the reason we're not going to see more is because people are accepting a mediocrity on one side instead of saying, "Wait, we want this, we want that, we want more of this," and sticking to their word. And I guarantee if people and here's the truth. Xbox is in a predicament where if they're like, shit, people don't sub the Game Pass, we're done. We're going to go third party. That's what I think. And if people aren't buying games, we're going to go third party. This is once again what I think.
Yeah.
But at that point, you might as well go third party because you obviously, the service you're giving people is not the service that people think it is. You know, the service you're giving them
You're
is
my
not
number
what
one
people think it
customer.
is. People are saying Game Pass is a service that is this, is that, and you know, I don't know. I can't for the life of me think that like when you're losing is a great thing. Like, oh man, we're losing. This is such a great thing. When has this been a great thing in the industry? When anybody's losing, it's been a great thing. Why are we so afraid to call a loser nowadays? You're a loser. You're a loser. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means we're telling you you're not where we want you to be, and we want you to be better. Why is it a bad thing for people to say somebody's losing?
Yeah. I know.
I don't
like,
get that.
Shout out to the game night, 123. Again with the $2. He goes, Microsoft does not know how to promote their games. And I think it's a huge problem. That's right, Frog. Like, it's a huge problem. Like, they don't know how to promote their games. Like, if Sony just had Starfield, like you were saying, Sony would be like showing bits and pieces of it to lead up to the hype of it. You know? They went back. Hello?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm
yeah,
here.
like wouldn't they would be doing that to promote their games,
right?
But the thing with Starfield is like, do you think? And this is what I ask you, like, did you think that I was trying to look to see like what the hype is for Starfield outside of the Twitter stuff. Like,
I don't know
Xbox
what it
fan. Do you think that
there's no hype for it outside of Xbox
like,
fans?
Do you think like? We know when Fallout 3 came out, right? It was a lot of hype for Fallout of the franchise. Starfield's a brand new franchise, and I think Fallout 76 turned off a lot of people because they actually, that franchise had a lot of followers for it, and then 76 kind of shot them and slapped them in the face. But now it's like, oh, here's our new IP, and here's the thing. But again, it's a new IP. It's in space. Seeing a lot of hype for Elder Scrolls more so than what Starfield is, because that fantasy type Skyrim continuation and those two worlds have a legacy with that, and Starfield is more of an experiment. And I don't know, like, if Starfield, the people are thinking that Fallout hype is going to transcend and be equivalent to Starfield.
No, it won't.
Because I remember when Fallout 3 was announced, I remember, but there's that whole show based off of it, right? Like they had a whole show.
I think that when you look at the history of what Bethesda's been doing, you have to keep in retrospect. I think if people aren't realistic, people are living in their heydays, just like with the 360 and the Xbox. People are living in these heydays of, hey, it's going to come back. It's not. Microsoft that we knew. And the Xbox that we knew back in the day is not the Xbox we know now. They've made their bed that they want to lay in, and a lot of people don't want that bed to lay in. They rather have a Posturepedic, and they rather move on. And my personal thing is, I'm at that point where I'm like, I don't enjoy what I play on Xbox enough to even really, in a sense, kind of like even give it any room of speech or vocabulary anymore. It's like what they've done to me as a fan from the beginning, original OG Xbox, which a lot of the guys who capped for it, they lie and say I'm an Xbox, but they didn't even own an OG
Yeah.
Xbox. There's a lot of people out there like that, and
That's what
I'm
bothers
not
me
trying
because
to
I see
choose.
this
I'm
downfall
not
of
trying to.
like, yeah, Frog. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say. Yeah, I'm not trying to say anything bad about any particular person. What I personally think is just like at the end of the day, you have to be real to yourself and say, look, you're not where we want you to be. This is why, and a lot of reasons, that the Dreamcast met its fair end because it didn't innovate in a lot of ways. It stayed the same. People forget that. Like, did we forget like why the Dreamcast is no longer here? There's a reason why the Dreamcast is no longer here.
Well, that was
Um,
Sony. That was Sega just not having the
well,
proper
it was
funds
Sega.
for it.
It was Sega, and it was also Sony being so dominant in industry. You know, and
Yeah.
I've said this, and
Sega just
I'm gonna
dropping
say this
consoles left
again.
and right. Who's that?
Yes, I said this and I said this again. The PlayStation 2 era was so dominated by Sony that there were third party games that were on PlayStation 2 that you thought were first party games because they weren't anywhere else, right?
Yeah.
That we're going back to that era of how games are being made with the PS5. You're going to see games that are third party, and you're going to be like, hey, um, is this game an exclusive? And you're not going to see it on another platform. The reason you're not going to see it on another platform is they know it's not going to sell there.
Mhm.
Unless it's in Game Pass, it's no reason to put it
I
there.
know that Game Pass thing.
Here's the thing, Jess. Microsoft has enough money to keep Xbox alive and keep it going, right? They can keep it alive because it doesn't hurt their bottom end. And but at some point, what point do you say, look, we're a $1 trillion company. This one effort right here is consistently and constantly losing us money to the point where we're not making enough money. Do we really keep this endeavor going, or do we just want to say, let's let it be?
Yeah.
Let's let it be. Let's let it be. Let's move on. Let's just go ahead and do what we came here to do from the beginning, and just to keep that market of software going. We're a software company, and we know what we're obviously doing over there. Let's just let this be.
Yeah.
What point do they say that? Or do they do that? Or they say, look, yeah. And I think that that's what they need to do at this point. I do think that there's not a reason to continuously want to invest in anything Xbox because they don't want to invest in the consumer. And and it's like hard saying that because people will get mad and say, "Oh, they're not investing in the consumer. They don't care about the consumer like they once did." The reason they cared about the consumer like they once did because their invested interest was making sure that Sony didn't tap into the market and hurt their bottom line with
Yeah.
the PC market
Well, that
was.
was when they were
And so,
aggressive. If you watch the
right.
videos, like that's
And,
when they
and
were
and guess
aggressive
what?
with that stuff.
That's the Xbox I liked,
Yeah, because
and
they
I
were
think a
going
lot of
after
people
Sony to prevent them. But then
going
after they
after
got
Sony.
there, they smelled some
Right.
success. Then they're like, "Oh well, let's just get Windows in there and put Windows in there." And that then it became more about that shit. And you look, this is more about getting people on Game Pass than games. Because if you look at these games, and shout out to Zuby Tech who made this graphic. But if you look at this lineup of games, like just look at the caliber of games that are on here coming from Sony's first party of what we know. And then you look at what Xbox has, and it's just like a company who didn't have anything at launch, and they dropped Halo 5, Halo Infinite, after a year delay. You would think that they would be backlogged, right? Like, oh, well, Halo was supposed to come out in 2020, but we pushed it to 2021. Here's Forza Horizon. Because I always said this. I'm like, what happens if Halo launched in 2020? What would they have for 2021? Forza Horizon? Psychonauts was supposed to come out in 2020 as well. So in
Right.
2020, you would add Psychonauts and Halo Infinite. What would be their 2021? Forza Horizon 5? That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that. And that would be it. So then you say, well, since they delayed those games and now this year has got to be the hit year, right? Well, if they didn't buy Bethesda, Frog, in 2019, well, Frog, if they didn't buy Bethesda in 2020, what would they have this year? If they didn't buy Bethesda.
Right. They wouldn't have shit. And I still don't think they have shit.
And yeah, if they didn't buy Bethesda in 2019, in 2020, and announce that stuff. What would they have this year? People saying and people using Deathloop last year as a Microsoft success, I guess.
That totally overwhelms it. Is it we're going to use it as a success when we want to, and
yeah,
it's not
and then assume it's coming to their platform this year in Game Pass. Okay, well, if that's so assumable, then why the hell isn't that just laid out right now? Why didn't Microsoft? I thought they were going to jump on the Game Awards and the Deathloop nominations and announce Deathloop for for Xbox. Like, that would be the perfect thing to jump off. Hey, the Game of the Year nominee Deathloop is coming to Xbox next year. I thought Microsoft would use, and it's coming to Game Pass. Instead, they let that Deathloop awards show hype go out the door. The guy had to thank PlayStation. And now, where's this Deathloop guarantee? Sony didn't, when's that happen? Everybody's like, oh, Deathloop's coming. And really, if you cared so much about the game, you didn't play it. All you guys that have PlayStations and Xboxes because you're neutral. You're hyping up Deathloop to come to Xbox? Why? You could have played it already. Everybody got 2 consoles because they're a gamer. You got 2 consoles, you're a gamer. But you're going to wait on Deathloop? Yeah, I agree. Yeah. You could have played Deathloop on the PlayStation. Oh, but I'm just going to get it in Game Pass next year. The fuck out of here. Then you don't care about the game, dude. You don't care.
Right.
So don't talk about it. Nobody cares if it's on your list. If you wanted to play the game, you could play the game in your neutral household. You're a gamer. Okay? You have access to it right there. PS5. I got PS5 and you play it. Go play it. Oh, I can't wait for it to come to Game Pass. What? Okay. So you don't think the game was worth buying? I don't think it is. I say wait for it to Game Pass. With the DualSense, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing. You have a lot of people that is waiting for games to come to a service. And they don't want to buy games.
It's so good. I don't want to pay for it. That's right. Yeah, it's all right. I was doing somebody's comment.
No, I was just saying, like, people are waiting for games to go into a service. They don't want to buy games anymore. And I'm like, what kind of life is that? Where you're like, oh, man, I need to just, wait for this game to come in a service. Like, is that really what we've come to?
I don't know, but I don't want it to come to that. But and if you look at the games coming to that service, is that service worth money? Like, that's the thing. That's $180, what I just showed on the Xbox side. Just to go back to it before we wrap this up, like, you look at this Xbox side, man, and it's just like, really, that's what you got? Like, for 2022? Like, you would think with the delays and you have a new console, man, you will be ready. You'll be rearing to go. 2022 will be your breakout year. And you said Sony had a bad year. We're releasing,
and that's
come on.
And that's the other thing. Like, anybody says Sony's PlayStation had a bad year, how?
I don't know how. Plus, coming off of releasing Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima the year before. Microsoft released the year before. Nothing. What did they release? What did they release? What did they release in 2020? They released fucking Gears expansion. That's what they released. And here, just to summarize that, here's your year 1. Here's Zubitech again. Now, I might be a little biased because Zubitech is a PlayStation guy, but you look. Here's year 1 but there's no bias in this. Here's your games from launch. Like, this is what they had. Look, I'm not going to read them all off, but Jesus. This is from their PlayStation 5. And they bought these studios. Remember last week? What a shit year, right? Year 1. Like, they're dropping games, dude. And no one else. Some of those are only PS5 games. Last year, people were hyping up the Medium for that February game. But this is the thing. The excuses about COVID, about the launch. All right, fine. You're in year 2 now. This is the year. And Sony's stacked. And you're showing me Starfield, which we have no clue about with Starfield. You're showing me Starfield stuff and showing me this list. That's a disgrace. And you say, well, Microsoft's games is going to take time. There is no time.
That's why I say the fact that they keep saying the games are going to
Minecraft
take
don't do
time, just do them right. If you got all the time, just do them
They
right.
took time with Halo. Still waiting for content in it though, right? But look, here's your 2022. Your bangers. Paparazzi. Stalker 2. Like Stalker 2, okay, maybe that's good. But I would think if you're really going to invest in Stalker, why don't you remaster or remake Stalker 1 and put that with Stalker 2?
Yep.
If Microsoft really wanted to invest. That's just a cash grab. That's a PC grab. That's what that is, Stalker 2. And who knows? They said it's a 3-month exclusive. But look at this. This is what Xbox has become because of Game Pass. And this is what it is, dude. All those studios, they bought everybody. Perfect Darks, The Fables. Oh, wait, 5 years. Sony's not waiting, dude. You think that God of War and Horizon is the end? And Sony's going to wrap it up? You know Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine are coming. And a game from Santa Monica, not God of War, but the space game. What's Naughty Dog working on? What's Studio Bend working on? Sony is not done. And that's not including their partnerships that they're doing. Like with Knights of the Old Republic. Like with all those other studios that they purchased and they partnered with. Is Microsoft doing partnerships? Are they partnering with studios bringing you new games? No, they're looking at Steam sales. Steam Summer Sale, page 7. Put this game in Game Pass. They look good. Shut them up for a month. And then this is, and Frog, the last thing on this is that this has been the case for the last 4 to 5 goddamn years. They put one game in there, a Halo, a Gears, a Forza, now Starfield. And they just have that carrot. If it comes out good, that's great. If it comes out bad, it's in Game Pass. And there you go. Because there's nothing on this list for 2022, a second year of owning a brand new next-gen console. Those guys at Digital Foundry, you saw the sad faces. Paparazzi's going to show the 17% differential. Fucker. Slime Rancher 2? Is that going to show the power of the Series X? Maybe Frog Detective. Frog, you're working on that game.
No.
Nah.
I think that it's one of those things that you look at, and once again, it is kind of sad. It's just a sad thing.
Maybe Starfield, but who knows with Bethesda and a game that's on all the goddamn platforms. It's all on PC and Xbox. Is they going to take advantage of the Series X? Maybe.
Well, let me tell you something. Unless Bethesda
it's an open world game.
Unless they change their engine, I don't have faith in really anything they do.
It's the same engine too, right?
As much as I like a lot of their games, I do like a lot of their games. I'm not gonna lie and say I don't. I love the Fallout series. I love the Elder Scrolls series, but there again, it's just like, how much can we take of the same thing? You see what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. But
how much of the same thing can you constantly and consistently
we saw
take?
The leaks of Redfall. You think that's gonna really show the
Oh my
differential?
God, that game looks like fucking ass. That game looks like pure fucking dog shit.
I think Dreams Everywhere has potential. I don't know. Dude, this is what I mean. Game Pass, and exactly, Jesus. KOTOR is just the start. Exactly. We don't even know what Sony's working on. That's what I said last week. We don't even know. But you look at this. It's like, this is Game Pass day one. Does this look like a $180 day one game list? I would say just let me play Starfield for $60. Thanks. I'm done. And I'll wait for sale on Stalker 2. Like, I don't need this stuff for $180.
Let me tell you something. Even the smallest games of PlayStation's, people look at and respect it. The smallest games. Sackboy's Big Adventures. I've been playing this game with my family, and they're just freaking enjoying it. It's like, this game is so good. And a lot of people will shit on it and say, how is this a good game? The fact of the matter is, look, the fact of the matter is like, Sony gives you options and give you options that semi that you can say, hey, this can hold me over until I get my next big God of War fix, or I get my. What does Microsoft give you outside of that? I just don't understand. Anybody who can tell me what Microsoft really gives you.
They know. Like, what they give you, I told you. And it's funny because this thing kind of wraps up like what Microsoft is like somebody wrote this because they were talking about the Surface Duo, and they were saying like they come up to Microsoft and they go, hey, when a user takes a photo, the app should check whether they're in a national park. And somebody's like, sure, easy, just look it up, give me a few hours. And then then the same person goes, oh, you know what, and check whether the photo is of bird. And she's like, I need research and a research team, and it's gonna take 5 years.
Jeez.
This is the reason, like, that's how Microsoft is. Like, it's like you can't pivot. That's like the development of Halo. Like, basically, that's basically what it is. And I'm gonna say, like, for next year, like for actually this year, I keep talking next year, but even next year, like, do you know Spider-Man's coming next year? So get ready for that. Like, Spider-Man 2 is coming next year. Okay, so there's 2023. You want to start talking about next year?
You got to be ready for everything that's coming.
Sony's not waiting, dude. They are not waiting for Microsoft to get their shit together and say Fable's gonna come or figure out whatever Wild is. They're not waiting. And this year, dude, that's right, donuts, dude. And I'm just telling you, man, this year, I don't know. Like, if they got Bethesda, so like, is Bethesda gonna carry them? Well, they still got Ghostwire Tokyo that's still coming out. Another weird kind of exclusive game for PlayStation, but made by Bethesda that's owned by Microsoft. Strange.
I don't know how anybody can look at in this day and age at gaming on a console level and think that the PlayStation is just not going to come out and be successful, and that we're going to have this big turnaround from the Xbox. Nintendo's their biggest competition. Sony's PlayStation's biggest competition. And then on the flip side, it's kind of like, okay, we know our competition, but realistically, Xbox is not a threat to anybody but themselves.
Yeah,
their existence is in their own hands. And I said this. I think I said this the end of the PlayStation lifestyle. I said the life of the PlayStation. I said, hey, the only way PlayStation can mess up is they would have to mess up themselves. It would be something they did themselves, and they just seem to hit the mark after mark after mark. Hit as Sycamore says, hit after hit. Hit after hit. I just consistently see solid stuff they deliver. I see a solid platform. I see a solid user interface. Don't mistake and think there aren't things that can't be done. Everything that we've asked from the Xbox team over there to redo, they've considerably either done at a lesser value or version, or not at all.
Exactly.
And it's kind of like, yo, you gave us an Xbox One user interface, but you don't want to remind us that we're in the Xbox One era and how bad you failed. But you gave us a straight Xbox interface.
Yeah.
Xbox One interface. So what do you really want me to do with that? We're still in the Xbox One generation with the Xbox Series X.
Yeah. Last question I'm going to ask you, Frog, about
why didn't you just call it an Xbox One Series X? That's what you should have called it.
He can't do that. I know that's what it is. It's a remastered.
That's what it is. PS5 is not a PS4 Pro.
No.
Like people are saying.
No.
The Xbox One series systems are definitely in the Xbox.
DualSense will be used by first party, all the bullshit. It's going to overheat. But Frog, let me ask you this last question. And guys, hit that like button. If we get 100, I'll do the giveaway. If not, we'll do a double giveaway at the next show if we hit 100. Let's get 100 likes and see if I can do the giveaway. But what I wanted to ask you a question, Frog, is when do you think we will see update on Starfield?
E3.
Oh, that's what I think. I think the same thing.
E3. That's Microsoft's, because Sony isn't there. That's Microsoft's biggest way to show whatever there's going on, whatever they're doing. E3. They're gonna wait to E3 to do everything. Sony wants to basically show us, hey, look what we're doing, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But E3 is kind of their big show. Microsoft is happy that Sony's not at E3 because they're like, well, since they're not at E3, we don't have to worry about anything. We can own it. We can come in there and own everything and say, look at what we did. And that's like, being like, I don't know. That's like, for me, it's like, I don't get it.
Mm-hmm. I know. And I think the same way as you is that the next time we see about Starfield is going to be at E3. Like, I don't know if Microsoft's going to do an event like Sony does, like a state of play, to would they need to do something about
here's the
Starfield,
thing,
like in
Des, don't be
February.
surprised.
I would.
Yeah, and I was just about to say, don't be surprised if Sony does some kind of event before some of their next big games come out.
Well,
Don't be surprised.
No, it's
Sony's
interesting,
very
Frog,
sneaky like that.
Yeah, and I also thought it was pretty interesting too, is that like people were saying like, oh, we don't know anything about God of War didn't show that much gameplay, but you know how Sony's going to operate. They did it last year. They're going to do Returnal, and then they're going to do I just like the hyped up Returnal right after Returnal release. Then they went to Ratchet and Clank. They're gonna everything about them now is gonna be showing Horizon. Then they're probably gonna market GT7. And then they're going to market Forspoken, and then they're going to talk about God of War, and probably use E3 to try that E3 time frame right before E3 to probably show God of War, and maybe whatever else is coming out. Also, too, the other big factor, and the last thing I'm going to leave the Grindhouse with, is that this year supposedly the PSVR 2 is going to release. So in addition to all those games that you saw that are coming out, expect PS5 VR 2 games to also be launched if this does come out in November. So expect some VR talk this year. Yes, and I also, too, the answer for Frog was saying about this, I think Todd Howard said the next time you see gameplay, he said that, is that he was going to show it until 6 months, which is summertime, which is E3. So there you go. So I don't think Microsoft's going to have any event in February to counter Horizon or to counter GT7 or to counter anything coming from Sony to talk about Starfield, unless they show some gameplay clips. But yeah, which influencer will host E3? Who the hell knows? People are gonna be ultimate capping, because I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be a rough. People thought that November, December was bad for PlayStation because PlayStation didn't have any first-party games coming out, but it's gonna be a long year until E3, so you can actually talk about it. Because people are gonna try their damnedest to try to pull the announcements away from Horizon and not make that a big deal. Horizon is going to look absolutely incredible, and it's going to demonstrate the power of the PlayStation, the hardware that you purchase, that you can get, and that's the biggest problem too. I think.
I'm gonna tell you this, guys.
They can't get it.
Here's what I'm gonna tell you. It's gonna start. This is how it's gonna start for the year. It's gonna start with our Uncharted remakes. I'm sorry, remasters.
Yeah, when does that come
right?
out? The Uncharted remaster.
January something. I can't remember, but I'm doing a $10 upgrade. I'm gonna play them again.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Anybody complaining about this is a damn fool. You'd be stupid. You should be happy that your console of your preference is even saying, you know what? Hey, we're gonna go ahead and give you guys something like this for $10. People are mad at it. They're gonna spend $10, and I can't understand why. I don't know if they're being just funny guys.
January 28th.
Really are upset. I can't understand how can you be upset about something you got to pay $10 for it as an upgrade that makes everything better.
Deflectors.
I don't understand that.
I call them deflectors. They're trying their damnedest.
Hey, you know what? We're gonna give you your Gears of War, for $10 or whatever. For like that would be so awesome. But no, they're not gonna do that. You know why they're not gonna do that? Because guys on that side are so worried about fanboying, they're not asking for shit. They're just so busy worried about, what they don't. Instead of what the other guys have, instead of saying, "Yo, we do need something like this."
Oh yeah, Xbox free.
Ask for more.
The free
Ask
yourself
for
until the games
more.
come out. Yeah, right. They're gonna come out the Xbox fridge, and then they're gonna try to announce an Xbox freezer so you can cryogenically freeze yourself to when goddamn Fable and shit's gonna be ready.